you're not living your best life if you don't vote. You're not living your best life.
Let's go, yeah. I came up through these streets, now who's running the show? Me. Ha ha, he, yeah. We topping the bill now. Topping the bill now. Stacking the bills now. Stacking them.
All right, we got another episode, another installment of the amazing Be Woke.Vote podcast, the most heroic, amazing podcast trying to save the world, trying to save America from destruction in November. And if you're trying to save somebody, if you're trying to save a nation, you might want to have a superhero, and we do. Give a round of applause to my brother Colter up in the house. The brother Colter, Luke Cage.
No, I was wondering why they were sitting there. Now I know.
Exactly. Now we know.
Oh, thank you.
Hype. Luke Cage, Power Man. You've been on a magic carpet ride in a way.
For a little while, yeah.
For a while, you got a chance to avoid some of the negative things that would stop somebody. Still kept your motivation though. And now you're playing a character that like everybody knows. You say Luke Cage. I mean, you brought Luke Cage back. People, only comic book nerds from the 70s and 80s even knew
who he
Luke
was.
Cage.
Yeah.
Now you've made him into a household name. Tell us how you got that opportunity.
I'd had a job. I was lucky. I'd had a job, a contract on another show that got picked up, and I was happy, But when I came across the material, I guess as actors do, you continue to look because you never know what's going to happen. So I came across the material. I went in for an audition, and something clicked with me. I looked at this thing. I said, "This is I don't know something about this." I was like, so I called my people, which I never do, on the way out of the audition. I go, "What exactly is this?" Because I think this is that Luke Cage thing, and I didn't know a lot about it, but I'd heard through the grapevine. And they said, "Well." They kind of played it off. They didn't really say exactly what it was because I don't think they really paid attention to know what it was. Send people out for all these things. I don't think they knew exactly what, it's like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think I knew more at that time about the project than they did.
Yeah.
And so when I got the opportunity, I just felt like it was something that clicked. I said, this is an opportunity to do this character because what I had read, that character from the 70s wasn't going to work now. So I met with Cheo, Darrick, who was a woke brother, Stanford graduate, vibe, source, writer, just all around good dude. And so we kind of just clicked immediately. We understood that this character needed to be relevant, he needed to be a thoughtful character, he needed to be someone that was not the cliche that we had grown up, with the, jive talk, post-Shaft era. Blaxploitation was something we wanted to, take a nod to, but we wanted to kind of tone it down and make him more of an erudite, make him more of a well-read, well-spoken brother who would use his fists as a last resort.
Yeah.
And so I think was something that we wanted to sort of introduce to the culture right now, because I think we needed that. If you're going to lead, we needed somebody like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, one of the things about the show that I think got the whole world's attention was the first image is you in a hoodie with all the bullets.
Yeah.
Which immediately called back to Trayvon and how Trayvon was wearing a hoodie and was shot down and he died.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing a black man wearing a hoodie and you can't kill him.
Yeah.
When you saw that image, or when you heard about that, did you realize how big that was going to be in the black community?
Yeah, I did. But it was just like that was just like part of it. It was like sort of a nice image that I know would resound, would have an effect in the community, but we wanted to make sure that, okay, once they tuned in, we wanted to sort of like trick them. Okay, we got that. This is what the guy can do, but we wanted to bring people in and sort of introduce them to a character that hopefully they could understand and on a deeper level. And that was it was not an accident. We wanted to make sure that we were infusing our show with Trayvon. Trayvon was something that I think touched everybody.
Yeah.
And it came around at the right time and the wrong time. I mean, people talked to me about what the show's relevance is and how important it is what we do. I always say, it sounds sad and somewhat selfless, but I say to myself, I'd rather our show not be as relevant if you're asking me, do I want my show be popular because of the bullets, holes, and the hoodies and stuff like that, and black men getting shot? I'd rather be just sort of another show, because ultimately it's about, society and the culture as opposed to having a popular show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a deep thing to say. I mean, how do you think about the present racial tension? To me, it feels like since Trump was elected, there's been a deterioration. But I wonder if you see it the same way.
I think like everybody, I think at first glance, it does feel that way, because I think like most people, I thought we were sort of heading in the right direction. I think when Obama came, whether people wanted to admit it or not, he made most people proud. I mean, you had to really dig hard and really be sort of, I don't know what you'd be drinking, but you'd have to really look, I don't know where you would get it from, but this guy was well-spoken. and no matter what, you felt like he was competent, you felt like he cared, you felt like he was giving 100% effort.
Yep.
Because listen, it's not just about him, it's about a lot of people. You got the Senate, you got Congress, you got all other people that you have to negotiate with, and he inherited something that I think was, it would take a yeoman's effort for anybody to change. So as long as we felt like he was really trying, which I felt like he was, we were heading in the right direction. And ultimately, he's a world person, because when you talk about him being biracial, white mother who we never got a chance to know, black father, it opened up a certain side of humanity that we hadn't seen in leadership. He was sensitive to those things. So I look at it and I go, like everybody, I said, I thought we were heading in the right direction. But what I feel now is that the ignorance that's coming out, yes, it's about race, but I ultimately think that the people who are redirecting this focus, they've been very smart, because it's less about race and it's more about money. And it's more about, people's feelings about themselves. Because I find when the hate comes out, really people aren't happy with themselves. Right. They are trying to point the finger at other people. And if they can tell you that these people who are darker skinned than you are causing you problems, these are the people that they can blame them for their situation, that's an easy scapegoat. Easy. Because ultimately, what they don't realize is that we're all in the same boat. As an actor, I grew up with nothing, and you grew up with nothing. We happen to be black. But what it does is gives us a very, very good understanding of being able to relate to people who have had nothing. Mm-hmm. And then once you finally got a little something, you're actually in a different tax bracket, you don't forget. Right. So it's not about color, it's about where you come from. And I feel like they've done a very good job in dividing the country with color, but it's not about color. Because I vote against my own interests all the time. I do. I have to, because ultimately it's for the betterment of the country. But they found a way to change the narrative on that.
It's a trip, because what you just said about voting against your own interests, that's what we often will say, the poor white guy that's voting for a Republican is voting against his own economic self-interest. Mm-hmm. But that rich black guy who's voting for a Democrat is also voting against his economic self-interest.
Yes. Absolutely. We're voting for the poor white guy is voting for us. Essentially, right?
Yeah. So that's a crazy upside down world. So you were talking about how with Obama, I think people felt things were moving in a positive direction. Reality is we didn't come out in 2016 for Hillary Clinton the same way we came out for Obama in 2008, 2012. What do you think about November? Do you feel like this is like a critical election, a kind of a critical referendum on Trump? I mean, how do you, from your perspective, look at this election coming up?
I feel like it's as important as any election we ever had. As important as any election we've ever had. I mean, because here we are. It's about, we're in the precipice of something that, sure, we can endure another 4 years of this. And it's not just about the legislation, the politics. It's about, the outlook. People talk about the perception. You talk about the optics on something. Optics, a couple weeks ago, or not a couple weeks ago, recently, we heard laughter in the UN. We heard laughter. There's a certain sense that we're jokes.
So in other words, the President of the United States goes to United Nations.
Yes.
In New York City.
Yes.
Whole world's there.
Yes.
President starts giving a speech.
Yes.
And world leaders start laughing in his face.
And there's no way to really navigate it, because he doesn't know whether he's laughed at or being laughed with, and that's the sad part about it. We're trying to put the country back in the right direction, and what it takes is a person who's thoughtful and listens. And right now, I don't feel like the people in the White House are listening. They're talking, but nobody's listening.
Well, when you have the midterm elections, it's not the president, we don't get a chance to vote on Trump or Clinton or Obama or Bush or whoever. It's a whole bunch of people running for Congress and Senate and dog catcher and mayor and stuff like that. Some people never heard of. A lot of people, they just tune it out. I don't feel like we're in the middle of the most consequential election.
It doesn't feel, because I think they're thinking big term.
Right.
You're thinking, they're thinking president, but it starts at a smaller level.
Exactly.
The mayors and
Why should people, so you have people who, they may be comic book fans, they may be gamers. You're either a part of their screensaver.
Yep.
You might be a poster on their wall. They may have a T-shirt with your face on it. Why should that person passionately go and vote in November?
I say to them that if you feel disenfranchised, you feel underrepresented, you feel like it's no point. You got to say, what I want to say to those people is that the people that are having the best life, the song "Living Your Best Life"?
Yes.
The people that are living their best life are depending on you to be lazy. They're dependent on you to not care.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what they're dependent on.
Yeah.
they're hoping that, you know, the liquor store that's 1 block away from your house, that you're gonna stop off on voter day and you're gonna have a couple drinks and you're gonna go hang out under the shade tree. They're gonna hope that you're gonna smoke your day away. Yep. They're gonna hope that you do anything else but vote, because they're living their best life, but they're living at our expense. You know, it's no reason people called the 1%, not even the 1% really, have all the money.
The 1% of the 1%.
1% of 1% have all the money, and then all this here is just nothing. Mm-hmm. And they're dropping peanuts. You're catching the crumbs from what they have. One person worth a gazillion dollars. I'm hyperbole, but we're talking about people who are worth more money than countries, than countries. The GNP. We have to change that. But the only way to change that is to have a voice. And because, like you said, if everybody who needed to vote or had a reason to vote voted, it would be a landslide victory on what I would say is the side of good, versus evil. And I hate to put it that way, but it's kind of that way. So don't let those people who are actually living, people say they're living their best life. You're not living your best life if you don't vote. Mm-hmm. You're not living your best life. Yeah, you are basically poo-pooing on all the Rosa Parks, all the people that put their blood and sweat and tears on the line to give you the opportunity. And you're just too lazy to even get up and do it, man.
I appreciate what you're saying. I think the impact you're having, you may not know the impact that you're having on so many people. So I just appreciate you being here to talk about it.
I think people sometimes, they talk about things because I think everybody has their own ideas, because there's so many different topics and things that are under the umbrella of politics. And sometimes people just, think it's just clear cut as bipartisanship. They go, it's like, well, it's a Democrat thing, it's a Republican thing, it's an independent thing. And ultimately, I feel like you said, it's a humanitarian thing, right? And I would say to people who are listening sometimes, it's complicated. There are a lot of different issues, there are a lot of different candidates, there's a lot of different history for the candidates, and a lot of things you have to sort of decipher. And people go, it's a lot of work, it's like, how do I know who to vote for and all stuff like that? I tell them, look, when you turn your TV on, you find your candidate. You turn your TV on, you find some footage of them. Turn the volume off. Turn the volume off. Just watch them, watch their behavior, watch their mannerisms. Just watch their tics. Just watch them turn the sound off and see what you feel from just watching them. That's going to be indicative of who that person is as an individual. You can read a lot from the behavior. So it's not as complicated. Kids sometimes are better, judges of character than people, and pets. Pets and kids, they know who to go hug and who to cuddle and who to run away from. So if you're feeling confused, turn the volume off. Look at both candidates and see who you feel like you just watch that and see what that says to you.
Look, I'm curious about your take on a couple different things. How do you think about this whole rise of women's voices and everything that's going on, in this new moment where I think women are also speaking out a lot? I'm naturally talking about African American stuff.
Yes,
all
of
the
course,
time.
of course.
There's a whole rainbow.
I
of
support
struggles.
that. Yes, there's no shortage of people who have been disenfranchised for the last 100 years. People, demographics that have not been heard, have been made to feel minimized. And right now, it's a good time for females, a good time for the LGBT community. They I hope I got letters in there, please. I hope I did. Yeah. They all have a voice right now. And sometimes we all get in our own, we like, this is our issue. Yeah. And the problem with it sometimes is, when other people want to help you with your issue, you have to be open to letting them in, because we need help, sometimes.
And need to help.
We need to help, yeah. When I looked at, like, back in the day, you talk about the civil rights movement, none of the civil rights would have been successful had not white people gotten involved and put their lives on the line. Right. King wasn't the kind of person to say, we don't need your help. He implored people to help, and he needed that help. And I would say to anybody who has an issue, doesn't matter who the person is that wants to help. That person may not even be completely clean of all things. You're talking about, thinking about it, if King had only had white people who had to help him, who had never uttered the N-word, he might not have a person on. He might not have anybody.
Even by himself.
He might be by himself.
Even the
if he checked everybody and said, "Listen, have you ever said the N-word?" Nope. Where would we be?
There'd be an empty mall.
You have to leave, yes, an empty mall. You have to leave room for reformation, rehabilitation.
Yeah, redemption.
That's redemption. That's what people. We're too quick to cut people off. Yeah. There's a redemption here for people that may have seen a wrong error in their ways, and they want to be on the side of good. They woke up. They're woke, they want to do something, but you tell them no because they messed up 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 months ago. You gotta take that energy, in the church it happens all the time. People come in church, former crack addicts, now they're preaching.
That's right.
You got to, that you see that energy being harnessed to do something positive. So I think of all the things we're doing right now, I think the one thing that we're going about wrong is we're not allowing ourselves to harness all the energy and all the power for the people that really want to help. You can't be divisive. It can't be your fight. We got to get our ego out of it. You got to separate the ego. It can't be your fight. Everybody wants to be, everybody shows up when it's a camera, my fight.
Right.
We out here, this is what, and, we are loud when the camera's around. When the camera's not around, kind of quiet, gone. Let people who want to help, you know what I mean? Because the celebrities, listen, we can't do it all.
I agree with that. One thing that I think also, from the African American point of view, the immigrant rights struggle.
Oh yeah.
And they're snatching babies away from moms.
Oh.
I mean, just
for weeks, months.
And some of those babies are still missing.
Still.
And then when they get the babies back, the babies don't recognize the parents, or they've been so traumatized they don't
even trust them. Yeah.
And they don't trust them anymore.
Oh.
So it's to me, it's really about everybody coming together. I've been very, very proud of what they call the Obama coalition. Mm-hmm. Because even though it was black-led by Michelle and Barack, it really did try to include everybody. Mm-hmm. Like you said, LGBTQ, the Latino community, Muslims. Mm-hmm. The 2016 Democratic Convention, we had Black Lives Matter on the stage. We had that Muslim father holding the Constitution. We really drew a big, beautiful circle that included a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Now, some people say we drew the circle too small, and there may have been some white guys, working class guys that felt left out. Well, let's just draw it a little bit bigger and bring them in as well.
Yeah.
But I feel, and I'll let you go, but I feel that one of the great things about your role and the Black Panther, and some of the other ones that are trying on the DC side. I'm not going to talk about the DC, the DC folks, unless they want to come and sit on that chair.
That's where they come in.
But I think about you, and I think about the Black Panther and all the guys and the women and who made that movie so powerful. You're seeing Black beauty, you're seeing Black excellence, you're seeing Black pain and Black pride and Black culture, and yet it's universal and it's pulling everybody around that same electronic campfire and giving a whole different generation of young people, just like it's normal now for some people to think having a Black president is normal. Yeah. That wasn't normal when we were growing up. That was a comedian's punchline when we were growing up. Yeah. And now it's normal to see a hero, this man can save the world, can save the universe, and to have African American skin, accent, the whole deal. Not talking jive, not being a pimp, none of that stuff. And I think that can actually have a huge, huge impact on people. Mm-hmm. And I just want to appreciate you for embodying that. You're doing a lot more good than you know. If you are able to help us get more of your fan base to vote, I think that's the most heroic thing that you can do off the screen. Yeah. And I appreciate you for being willing to try.
Well, I'm willing to try, man.
Thank
appreciate
you
you having me, man.
All right, appreciate you. Mike Colter in the house. Brother almost broke my arm. Brother makes me want to go back in the gym. I almost broke my arm on the high five. Anyway, another installment of Be Woke.Vote. See you next time.
Guys, I'm Mike Colter. We need your participation. It is time to vote.